I recently did a deep dive on how to say no with
Uh-huh.
ease and grace. And there's four components to that as well. One was to give it consideration, to think about it, not just have an immediate no, but to be like, let me think. And then the second part was the no. Um, the third part was gratitude. And the fourth part, optionally, was to give a other suggestion. So in the example we're working with here, it'd be like, you asked me to clean all the dirty dishes in the sink. I'm like, let me think about that for a second. I got to say no to that. I'm really in a hurry.
Uh-huh.
I appreciate you making that request to me. And would it work for you if I do that tonight before we go to bed?
Yeah. And what I heard you do at that moment too is explaining the why behind your no. Because that will really help me if I just hear no and I don't know why you're saying no. It's much harder to
Yeah.
receive. But if I hear, okay, you're prioritizing something else and it has nothing to do with me necessarily, it's about like needs you're trying to meet. Um, yeah, that really helps kind of being able to hear a no for the other person, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then the difference between a request and a demand, I really feel that, and I feel like they can hide within each other. Like sometimes there is a request, but it's actually a demand, and if that no comes out, whether it's a graceful no or a, a rude no, it can set off fireworks.
Yeah. That's when we know if it was actually a request or a demand, is when the no comes up, right? Often it's a good test. And that's why I find like asking myself internally before I ask, okay, how open to a no am I here? Can I prepare myself for the possibility of a no?
And what do you do if you can't? If you're like, this is something that I like absolutely need. Do you say that? Do you
Well, for me, when it comes to that, and I have like a whole like exploration too around like what's the difference between a demand and a boundary. And for me, that goes more towards the realm maybe of boundaries, like it touches something really, really important and really, really special for me. And I still go from the standpoint that I cannot control other people. Like I can ask you to clean that kitchen, but I can't force you to do it, right? So, but I can when I see that so strongly, I can come back to myself and be like, okay, is there a boundary here? Is there something in me around who I decide to live with that is so important, that touches on something that I value so much, that cleanness of that kitchen? Am I living with the right person right now? And there's that piece of coming back to like, okay, is there a boundary? Is there like, and what I mean by boundary, for me, a boundary is something I will choose to do myself, not something I'm asking the other person to do. Something I will choose to do to care for my own needs. And that can be, I will choose to move out of here. That is a choice I can make if this is continuing in that way. But again, it's like the boundary is a form of request to myself or even a demand to myself that like, okay, now that is really important. I need to make sure that I care for those needs of mine, you know?
So it comes back to our relationship with ourself, which is where you started in this whole conversation. And yeah, we have some ability to control ourselves, control our lives way more than other people.
Yeah.
Um, and seems like that's part of the practice is nonviolent communication with ourselves and how we operate within the world.